Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, a major step forward for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency industry has just been announced. A draft bill called the Cryptocurrency Act of 2020 has just been reportedly introduced to the United States Congress, covering the topics of taxation on cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in particular. This is a huge step forward for the regulatory clarity of the cryptocurrency landscape, and it's something that we've been looking forward to happening for years now. We always knew it was coming, and guys, one of the most important fundamentals in fundamental analysis is just that, regulatory clarity on the cryptocurrency space, and this might be the start of something major. Now guys, don't click off the video. I know we're talking about politics, and politics is boring. I promise you I'm going to try and make this video as fun as possible and informative as possible. There's a lot of technical analysis we'll be doing at the end of the video as well. And this is a pretty big deal because it's going to be informing our long-term trades and investments, and it's an important part of understanding the long-term outlook for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, guys. So if you want to learn about this new bill that's being introduced to Congress, I highly encourage you to continue watching this video. This may be one of the biggest news stories that has come out in the cryptocurrency space in quite some time, and I don't see anyone talking about it, quite frankly. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. If you guys do enjoy today's video, consider hitting that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps out the channel when you do that. Also, consider hitting that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 30,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'll make it a little more interesting. If we hit 30,000 subscribers by the end of the year, I will spend $3,000 on microphone and camera equipment to go ahead and max out the production quality of this channel. So guys, now you got something to fight for. Go tell your family, your friends, your neighbor's dog to go subscribe to the channel so that we can do that. That's 30,000 subs before January 1st. Let's see if we can get there. We're only 400 away, guys. But anyway, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Regulatory clarity is one of the most important yet widely misunderstood and under-talked about fundamentals in the cryptocurrency space. Essentially what regulatory clarity is the understanding by companies in an ecosystem how what they're working in is regulated by government. So what that means is that exchanges are able to understand how the government is going to go about tackling the issue of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, taxation, security, etc. And guys, since cryptocurrency is so young, I mean, Bitcoin turned 10 literally this year. It's turning 11 in about 2 weeks, actually. The regulatory landscape for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is still very uncertain, and people still aren't really sure what's going on. The exchanges working in the cryptocurrency space are just not totally sure how the government's going to go about regulating certain things, which introduces a certain level of risk to doing business in the cryptocurrency space, which one of the jobs of businesses is to take risk, but if you can mitigate that risk, that is a good thing. And the less risk you have, especially coming from someone as powerful like the United States government, that is good for business. So I want you guys to understand this is not something minor. This is a big deal, and it's precedent setting. We're going to talk about all of that in today's video, but I want you guys to understand how important this is. Even though this bill hasn't gone through yet, even though it is still just a draft, this is a story we're going to be following because this is probably going to develop into something major. With that being said, let's go ahead and read through this article. The Cryptocurrency Act of 2020, U.S. lawmaker introduced draft bill to bring regulatory clarity. I believe Forbes broke this story, but Forbes is very full of themselves and wants you to subscribe to them to be able to read their articles, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm not giving Forbes any of my money. Nevertheless, quick take. A U.S. lawmaker has reportedly introduced a draft bill to bring regulatory clarity to the cryptocurrency sector. The bill, dubbed the Cryptocurrency Act of 2020, seeks to clarify which federal agencies should regulate crypto. Earlier this year, U.S. lawmaker Warren Davidson also reintroduced the Token Taxonomy Act, seeking to clear regulatory uncertainty. This word right here is very important, guys. Like I said, that's one of the big fundamentals in Bitcoin. That's one of the big things holding back Bitcoin price action is people just not understanding how Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are going to be taxed. And look, I know a lot of people don't want the government in cryptocurrency. I don't want the government in a lot of things that the government is in. And I'm a relatively libertarian guy. I don't discuss really political parties on this channel, but I would consider myself relatively libertarian. Not libertarian party, libertarian minded, by the way. But the fact of the matter is, guys, is that the government is going to step into cryptocurrency at one point or another, and if it's going to, then we want to make sure that it's going to happen in the right way. So don't take me as someone who wants the government to come in and take over everything and regulate the hell out of Bitcoin. That's not what I want either. But since Bitcoin is going to be regulated to some degree by the federal government, we want to make sure this goes through the correct way. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from with that. With that said, U.S. Congressman Paul Gosar has reportedly introduced a draft bill to bring regulatory clarity in the cryptocurrency sector. The bill, dubbed the Cryptocurrency Act of 2020, was introduced in the House of Representatives. The bill seeks to clarify which federal agencies should regulate cryptocurrencies. We're going to read a couple more sentences of this article, and we're going to dive into longer-term analysis. The bill has divided cryptocurrencies into 3 parts: crypto commodities, cryptocurrencies, and crypto securities. Accordingly, it has proposed a federal crypto regulator for each of the categories to notify the public of any licenses and registrations required. That one paragraph right there here is huge, guys, because Bitcoin has for a long time been up in the air about, is Bitcoin a commodity? Is Bitcoin a security? Is Bitcoin a currency? That was solved a couple years ago when Bitcoin was declared that it was not, in fact, a security. Ethereum is not a security either, for example. But there's still a lot of uncertainty as to what altcoins are commodities, securities, or currencies. And frankly, guys, there's no governing body to decide that. The SEC or the CFTC can come out and say it's one or the other, but obviously the CFTC is going to say it's a commodity so that they can regulate it. And the SEC is going to say it's a security so they can regulate it. The government, by its very nature, seeks to garner more power, and so do its individual agencies. So this right here is a very interesting step forward, a federal crypto regulator who would be able to decide that instead of us trying to go through the traditional means, the way that stocks are determined to be a security through the Howey test. That's a lot of fundamentals about the stock market that we don't need to get into, but the point is, that's a big deal. The bill has also provided definitions for the three types of currencies. Crypto commodity means economic goods or services. Cryptocurrency is defined as representations of a U.S. currency or synthetic derivatives resting on a blockchain, and crypto security, on the other hand, means all debt, equity, and derivative instruments that rest on a blockchain. That right there, guys, oh my goodness gracious, if only we had this like 5 or 6 years ago. That is huge. People have been arguing for years about whether a cryptocurrency is a security or a commodity or a currency. This bill, like the way it defines it or not, personally, I think that's a decent way of defining commodity, security, and currency. It's at least a framework that we can work off of, guys. It's going to settle a lot of the arguments in the space that are holding Bitcoin and blockchain's development back. The CFTC has been proposed to regulate crypto commodities, the SEC for crypto securities, and the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network for cryptocurrencies. There you go. That's pretty much what we expected anyway. The CFTC for commodities, the SEC for securities. I swear, guys, people keep trolling me by giving me these weird coffee mugs. Anyway, now you guys understand what's going on with that bill, and quite frankly, that is a very big deal. I know I've said it a couple times, but there's a reason I've said it a couple times, guys. One of the biggest things holding back Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is not even necessarily price action or adoption. I mean, that is a huge part of it, but one of the big things holding Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies back is that businesses and institutions that are already working in the stock market, for example, don't want to step into cryptocurrency because they don't want the SEC or the CFTC come knocking on their door and tell them, hey, what are you doing? I mean, guys, even individual taxation on cryptocurrency is a mess right now. The IRS doesn't even know what it's doing. The government, by its very nature, moves very, very slowly, but the thing is, the government, as inept as it is, does still have the power to put you in jail if you screw with it. And quite frankly, a lot of companies don't want to take that risk. Why would they? Bitcoin is risky enough as it is. It's an early, undeveloped asset compared to where we'll be in 20 or 30 years. The less risk that Bitcoin has will allow more institutions and more adopters to come in and allow for their money and their cash to join the cryptocurrency space and boost the economy here. So with that said, let's do a little bit of longer term technical analysis. As you guys know, over the short term, relatively speaking, I'm talking the next 3 to 6 months, I'm relatively bearish on Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's going to come down and test this moving average around $5,000 to $5,300. But looking a little farther into the future, guys, I can see 2020 being the start of something amazing for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I can see Bitcoin trying to get back to $20,000 and beyond, maybe sometime early in 2021. And as the cryptocurrency economy really starts to recover and bounce and move to the upside, we break all-time high, we have the halving. The stock-to-flow ratio allows us to run to $100,000 and beyond. I can see this decade that we're starting in, 10 days being huge for Bitcoin. The 2010s were the infancy of cryptocurrencies. Yeah, Bitcoin ran to $20,000. So what? Bitcoin was worth what? $400 billion? Wow, that's a lot of money. Global real estate markets are worth over $100 trillion. The New York Stock Exchange alone, one stock exchange, is worth $20 trillion. Guys, we are so far from mass adoption, it's not even funny. The fact that we're reading articles like this and getting excited about the US government actually deciding on something in cryptocurrency is testament to how early on we are in this space and how much farther we have to run. I mean, seriously, just think about for a second. Think about where the internet was when Congress first started talking about it back in the mid-90s. Now think about for a second what you would have done if you had been investing in the internet and a lot of these tech companies, especially the ones that would survive in 95, 96, 97. That's where we are right now, guys. You understand that 20 years from now, this is going to be landmark history. Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency space is still remarkably young. Everything we're doing here is going to go down in the history books as the beginning, not the end. We're nowhere near the end. That's why I try to make sure you guys understand the concepts of patience, delayed gratification, and long-term thinking. Bitcoin has been here for 10 years, and 10 years seems like a long time. Personally, when Bitcoin came out, I was in 5th grade. A lot of you guys probably still don't know that I'm 19. But think about where Bitcoin will be in 10 years. Guys, in the last 10 years, Bitcoin has rallied from a penny to $20,000. We're so far from the eventual future that Bitcoin is going to go to, it's not even funny. Bitcoin's going to rally to $1 million and probably $2 or $3 million within the next 30 years. Why am I saying all this, guys, though? Why am I getting up on my soapbox and preaching long-term analysis again? The reason is very simple, because I'm here to deliver a message. And that message is, stop thinking short-term. This is a problem that a lot of us have here in the cryptocurrency space. I've been just as guilty with it as many people. So I'm in no way shirking the blame from myself either. But as we move into the next decade, let us remember that what happens today is completely irrelevant. You know, I tell some of my friends that are trying to make a decision and they just don't know what to decide on, and it's something trivial and stupid and they're wasting time on. I'm like, okay, think about it. In 10 years, are you going to care which choice you made right now? Like, does it really matter which restaurant that we eat at? Do you need to spend 30 minutes thinking about it? In 10 years, is that going to make any difference? Frankly, in a year, in a month, is it going to make any difference? No, it's not going to make any difference what restaurant we eat at. In the same way, by the same token, in 5 or 10 years, is it going to matter what Bitcoin did a week from now, a month from now, hell, even a year from now? Is it going to matter if Bitcoin goes to $20,000 in May or November of next year? Is it really going to matter? Guys, our lives are very short, but they're also a lot longer than we think they are. We have a lot more time here than we really think we do, even though it goes by so quickly. I want you guys to start thinking long-term and thinking about where Bitcoin is going for your investment and your trades, because there are a lot of people right now that are trading and not thinking about the investment side of things, and it's a cautionary tale that I want to tell you before I wrap this video out. I remember when Bitcoin went to $20,000, I was relatively new to the space. I've been here about 6 months. And I would go on YouTube and I saw a lot of videos from people that had been in the space much longer than I had. I'm talking about they got into the space back here when Bitcoin was trading $200 or $300. And they would say in their little vlog videos that, you know, yeah, they made 2,000-3,000%. Maybe they made 100x or whatever, maybe 10x on the amount of money that they had in the space by trading and scalping and day trading and everything. And there's nothing wrong with trading. But you also have to remember that buying and selling one trade could have brought you an 11,000% gain. You put $10,000 in here. If you made a perfect trade, which is of course not going to happen, but let's say you did. You put $10,000 down here. That would have been worth $1 million. So guys, as we move into the 2020s, remember, investing is key. It's important to think about the long term. It's important to think about what's going to be going on in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And this bill is a great reason for me to be talking about that, because this bill right here, this going through Congress, is probably not going to have an impact on price action. It's probably not going to get a lot of press here on YouTube. Most people probably aren't going to talk about it, but this kind of stuff that's going on in the background that a lot of you guys probably weren't interested in when you clicked on the video, this is the kind of stuff that is going to determine where Bitcoin is going and when we get there. This is a huge step forward. This is a small step forward for Bitcoin, but a huge step forward for Bitcoin kind. So original, I know. I came up with that one on my own, totally. Guys, just remember that in cryptocurrency and in life in general, the longer you're able to delay your gratification, the longer of a time horizon you can think based on, the more successful you're going to be. If you can make decisions today that impact not what you do tomorrow or how successful you are tomorrow, but how successful you are 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, how successful maybe even your kids are, that is where real success comes from. That's where the billionaires are made. That's where the people that are able to do whatever they want, whenever they want, and have total time and monetary freedom, that's where those people come from. It comes from them making long-term plays, because no one was made a millionaire overnight. Every single overnight success story was preceded by 10 years of long, hard nights that no one talks about. This YouTube channel is finally starting to take off, and guess what? For a year and a half, I think the videos on this channel were terrible. I don't know why you guys subscribed, but you did. I put in the hours, I put in the effort, and frankly, guys, it was a lot harder than a lot of you guys think it was, because I'm really good at putting on a smile for the camera. But if you want to be successful in the world, you need to think long term, and the same thing is true for cryptocurrency. I hope that resonates with you guys, because a lot of people think that they're going to get rich overnight doing Shopify or Amazon FBA or YouTube or selling courses or whatever. They think they're going to get rich doing that. And there is a lot of money in internet marketing. There is a lot of money in cryptocurrency. There is a lot of money in entrepreneurship. But are you doing it for the money, or are you doing it for the freedom? Because I'll tell you one thing, it was never about the money for me. It was never about fancy cars for me. It was about the freedom to speak my mind, say what I want, and do whatever I want, whenever I wanted, wherever I wanted it. That right there is what I've worked on for the last 2 years, and it's finally paying off. And if you guys want to be successful in the cryptocurrency markets, you got to do the same. It's that simple. So guys, with that tirade over, I hope you guys did enjoy that. Tell me in the comment section down below what you think of today's analysis, what you think of this news story, because frankly, I think it's one of the biggest news stories of the entire year. And yes, I do remember back launching. I would like to hear your take on that in the comment section down below. And also, guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button and also consider subscribing. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And like I said, if we do hit that, I will go ahead and upgrade fully our microphone and our camera equipment here so we have much higher quality audio and video. And I promise you guys, even though you might think the quality is good now, it's going to be fantastic if we do that. So there's something for us to shoot for. Let's get ourselves to 30,000 subs and we'll do a massive upgrade to the production value here on the channel. And I might even send Taylor away to some gulag in Siberia to learn more editing with Premiere Pro so we make the videos even cooler. How about that? So guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.